Hello.
And welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is Sarita. You probably know me as Bible Study Girl, and taking over for my introductions because I'm delayed with the music over there is the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother.
Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy Bible Study Brother, also known as Icarus Gray over on Gray Area Anime, and this is the most wonderful podcast of your day.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And this really is the most wonderful podcast of your day, folks, because we have a very special, reluctant guest. You guys would not believe. I don't even believe today is happening, so I'm super pumped about it. Today, we'll be talking to my bestie, Chantale. Can I get some hand clap? Thank you. I know I put Cameron for
Oh man! Guys, calm down.
Yeah, the people are excited because I talk about her quite often. I don't ever really use her name when I talk about her. Usually when I write a blog, I'm not alone in the context of the story or whatever I'm blogging about, but I try to give people their privacy, their anonymity, and I don't really include the people that are in the story with me. Bible Study Brother and I have been going through and we are recapping some of my blogs to talk about how things have changed since I wrote them, and just to talk about the blogs in general and give you a more in-depth look into the blogs. And Chantale is here today because she was there. She's part of the subject of my blog that I'm talking about today. We're talking about I Climbed a Mountain. And if you go to the BibleStudyGirl.com website and touch the hamburger menu in the upper right-hand corner.
The three lines stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, it's the three lines stacked on top of each other. If you click on that, a search bar comes up and you can type in I Climbed a Mountain. So you can find that blog and read it. Just to get a better idea of what we're talking about. But we are going to talk about that day today with my very special guest. I really am. I'm super excited. I didn't think she would say yes, but she did. So here we are.
Hey, listen, man. God be moving, don't he? Hey, man.
Joe said to me, so how did you get her to say yes? And I sent him a message in all caps, Jesus the Christ. It was not.
I mean, it started with you getting her to write a blog in the first place.
She's never written one.
Oh, no, she told you she was never writing one. Oh, we got her to come on the reunion special. That was the first God movement.
No, she has not ever been on.
She still said no? I gotta go back and listen. My brain. Oh Lord, God! Look at God showing out. I'm over here making up memories. I'm like,
you are.
I thought Chantale had. I thought that the Lord had moved on her heart twice.
No.
Oh, He's moving. Listen,
in a mighty way.
Moving mountains.
So you really don't understand. She would not come on with the Bible Study Girls for Bible Study Girl reunion. She would not write a blog. She all day, every day. And so this is a big deal. You make fake memories up a lot, Bible Study Brother. I have to say that because
people be there.
I think maybe it's because she is in my life so much. You just put her there.
Yeah, there's only three people, technically two, technically only one now. But anyway, that I mean, if it's you, they're there somewhere. Right. Like it's not a And
Chantale is one of those people, except as far as like being out front with this Bible Study Girl thing. But here she is. So I'm gonna set up our story a little bit today. Chantale, do you know how long we've been friends?
I do not know the exact number. I know it goes back to college. Do you know how many years it's been?
I was hoping you would. I should have typed out a list of questions.
So let's do it this way.
I'm horrible with dates.
Okay, let me think.
I feel like I can do this.
It would have been undergrad speech path,
right.
But I don't know what year.
I graduated from undergrad in 2005.
Okay.
We were super cool then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Super cool.
It's looking like 17 of them things.
Yeah, probably about 17 years, I would say.
Like if you add, well, no, because before you graduate, so if you go from, that's if you're going from 2005. So y'all are almost at 20 something almost.
Almost 20. Do you remember how we met, friend?
I do remember us being in class, and I did something that was out of the ordinary.
Super out of the ordinary. Just think back to the fact that this girl refused to appear on any podcast. She's not writing a blog. She is a very private person. What did you do, friend?
I remember I invited you to go to a Kojic convocation, right?
Yes, and like an overnight trip. Prior to this, I don't remember us really interacting much. I don't remember us having like extensive conversation. With all that said, I don't know why I said yes to you.
I was thinking about it today. I don't know why I asked, because it's still not something that I would even do today. That is out of the norm for me. And I sure didn't know you were like a super saint, super churchgoer, or anything else. So for me to invite you and for you to say yes, like it was meant to be. It was meant for us to be friends.
It is a friendship written in the stars. You never heard the story before, Bible study, brother?
No, I didn't know. By the time, girls popped up in your life a lot, and so especially like when you when we were in when I was younger. So I'd always be like, "Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Is that your friend? Is that your friend?"
Because he was trying to check, like, "Ooh, she fine. What's her name?"
So, by that point, by the time you was like undergrad about to graduate, we hung out a whole lot more. Sometimes, at least when I would come up there. Didn't that one year? Didn't you stay like real close or under three? Like, weren't y'all in the same apartment thing at some point?
No, my apartment was just very close to the speech path building. And so a lot of times, like in between classes and stuff, we would come to my apartment because it was right there. But no, she is the queen of Conway.
Did you say that far from her?
Huh? What?
Did you say that far from her? Because I feel like we took.
No, Conway's not that big. I didn't say that far from her.
Yeah, because I feel like we had to take Chantale something. Because you make me run errands to any and everybody.
I'm sure we did. Like Chantale and I spent an incredible amount of time together in undergrad, and then, towards the end of undergrad, and then definitely once we got into grad school, we spent a lot of time together. Same major. So we had study group together. We would ride around Conway in her convertible with the top down if the people that was riding with us was cool.
Bruh. It was good time.
We had a great college experience. Like, I'm not a party girl, but we had so much fun together. We formed a singing group. Let me tell y'all. We have lived a life, child.
We have in our own way.
We have lived a whole entire life.
Yo, so, I forget. Literally, it's been that long. That is crazy.
Isn't it crazy? It's crazy when I think about it too. Like, we've been around each other that long. But we have.
Yeah, that 5-year difference is something, child, between us. Like, that's
I'm glad I was able to key you in on the history of our friendship and the very foundation.
No idea.
And I really do feel like our friendship it had to be written in the stars. It was meant to be, because child, if somebody I saw, I don't know, because how many days a week would we see each other? Maybe 2 or 3 days a week. And again, we're in class together. It's not like we're talking to each other and it just was weird and random. But I was like, okay. Anyway,
it was.
It was
because for the life of me, I still cannot figure out what made me ask you and say, yeah, ask this girl to go with you to Memphis and spend the night. And you don't even know her like that.
And I didn't know you like that. And I'm just like, I think yes. I think this is the move I need to make. So I really do. I believe our friendship is written in the stars, and it has proved to be true throughout the years because we've had lots of fun trips together, but we've also journeyed through some really sad, horrible, oh my God, is this real life moments. Like we've really grown up together, figuring out how to be grown-ups and what is this being grown?
Right.
Are you
adulting?
Right, adulting. Is it just me or is this crazy? So yeah, I think lots of different events had to line up for our paths to cross, but I'm very thankful that our paths did cross. Our paths crossed in a different way in the blog that we're talking about today, and I Climbed a Mountain. I'll tell y'all, when did you get married?
2013.
You got married in 2013.
Ooh,
that is correct because that is
September of 2013.
Okay, so
a decade. Ooh, child. That's what's up.
Earlier in 2013, I had been diagnosed with diabetes not too long before my 30th birthday. And so Chantale is the queen of fitness. We affectionately refer to her as the beast. She would deny it, but the girl is insane. You don't want to work out with her. And Tamika was on a health and wellness kick as well. So they were like partners in crime. They love to work out. So they decided that they were going to work out together on Sunday mornings before church. That meant that we would have to get up. I don't know. What time you think we started working out? Like 6 o'clock in the morning? Because me and Tamika had to teach Sunday school. And so we had to get our workout in before service started or whatever. And you lived in Bryan at the time. You lived in Bryan at the time. So we were going to have to make a drive to get to you to do all of that and then get to church on time. Now, listen. The only reason I agreed to these early morning workouts is because I had been diagnosed with diabetes. I knew I needed to move. I wasn't going to be moving on their level, but we were going to be in a gym. So while they was over there wilding out, I could be in my lane doing my own thing. And they would pump each other up. Fitness! Like, whatever y'all doing.
I was definitely invited to one of these. I was like...
Right, it was
10:30, sure. 10:30 p.m. Yeah, I'll do whatever.
No, but 6 in the morning. And so Chantale gets married. She moves away to Georgia. Those early morning workouts are over. You know, I'm sad she's gone, but I'm not sad. It's early morning stuff on Sundays is gone. So Tamika and I decided to visit her. And we go to Georgia. Oh, we're having a fantastic time. And the fitness buffs in this friendship circle decide, you know, Chantale's husband is very active. And she's like, we've been climbing the mountain and it's great. And I should take y'all. And this is a spoiler alert. I am not a party pooper. I told y'all I will go to them workouts in the morning at the gym. I'm not hating on y'all. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm over here doing my thing. Well, I had no intention of climbing this mountain, but I knew they had each other. And they was going to be pumped up and pump themselves on up the mountain. I wasn't planning on going all the way up the mountain. They're faster than me. They're in better shape than me. Just leave me back here. I'm cool. I didn't say that out loud. I'm just thinking it as I ride in the back seat because this ain't my thing. And Tamika loves this story because she would laugh all the time. She was like, I can't. And she would say to Chantale, like, can you believe she didn't mean to? Can you believe she had no intention of climbing this mountain? It just boggled her mind. So anyway, we get there. They are so pumped. Ooh, work out. We're climbing a mountain today. Honey, I let them go on. Every now and then, Chantale kind of look back, not Tamika, because the girl was focused. She was for to get up this mountain. And Chantale will come back and she'll be like, you okay? I'll be like, girl, I am fine. I was having a lovely stroll up the mountain. When I say stroll, I mean stroll. I was just going to let them hop all the way up and come back down. You got to pass me to get to the car. Like, it ain't no need for me to get all, listen. And finally, my friend that's on this here podcast with me took it upon herself to come back. She was like, I'm going to walk with you. And I was like, girl, I'm good. Like, I don't want to mess up your exercise. You go ahead without me. You and Tamika are doing great. Like, keep on. She was like, no, I'm going to walk up this mountain with you. At this point, I had to have like a real moment with her and be like, look, girl, I don't need to climb this mountain. I'm good with what I'm doing. You be good with what you're doing. Well, this is the point where, like, I think real friendship is tested and made.
Y'all can't see the face, but the face she made is the face she was making probably that day. Like, that day, sure, right? I understand what you're saying, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's going to happen. We going to
correct. And she is like, didn't you just get diagnosed with diabetes? What's gonna happen if they cut your feet off and you gonna be in a wheelchair? I was like, you gonna push me around? And she was like, I probably am, but I'm gonna be fussing. Get up this mountain. You need to get healthy. And let me tell y'all, people were concerned. Because the mountain was not, listen, I'm not super fit. So I'm struggling up this mountain. People stopping on their way down like, you okay? Chantale like, she fine. I got this. She is okay. And she bullied me up this entire mountain. Is there anything specific you remember about this day, friend?
Bully.
I do remember coming. I know she used the word bullied on me. She makes me sound so harsh. I do remember coming.
You trying to say you would?
It all came from a place of love.
It did.
All out of love. But I do remember, like you said, coming back down to encourage you in a loving way to continue up the mountain and to achieve the goal that I thought you had set out that day, which was to make it to the top. So
that wasn't my goal, friend. It became, sorry. And let me tell y'all, I made it up the mountain. And I think it was a great lesson for me because my friend wanted me to do more. She wanted more for me. She wanted me to be healthy than I wanted for myself. Even though I wanted to cuss her out on the mountain. I made it all the way up to the top. I don't know how long Tamika had been up there by the time we made it up to the top. She took like 8,500 selfies.
I think Tamika made it up to the top in like record time.
Because I feel like she asked you, like, how long do it usually take y'all? It took me this long. Ooh, we need to come back. Like, but y'all coming back without me. Like, because I'm not doing this again, friend. But I feel like this story is a perfect example of a friend pushing you beyond your comfort, not caring about what you think is good for you, and pushing you to do more and pushing you to do better, and not just being there for the kiki good times, but like, girl, you can do more. You can be better. Now, let me tell y'all, After we finally got down from this mountain, we got back to their townhouse. I laid on the floor for I don't know how long. I was dead. I laid on the floor in their living room with the fan on. Do you remember that?
I do not.
Because it wasn't a traumatic experience.
Right. You were the one going through it, not me.
That's because she's fit, you guys. She didn't have to worry with the hassle and struggle of being a very obese girl going up a mountain. I will say though, like, I mean, it was little kids and stuff passing me by. So it wasn't like my life was in danger. I mean, it felt like it was though, because I was like, this is not what I signed up for. And like I said, can you believe she wasn't climbing up that mountain? Can you believe that wasn't?
You got to switch back over your mic.
It's on. Is it?
You was off for like 3 seconds.
Was I? I'm back on. But Tamika will often laugh at that story and be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe." Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me better now?
Yes.
I feel like I need to change the back of my microphone because the little plug comes out, but we'll have a production meeting at some point.
Indubitably, I hear you. Madam.
But yes, a very, very challenging time in my life. But I think it is a great example of what our friendship has been through the years. I think you push me at times when I'm uncomfortable. And you challenge me to do things that I wouldn't necessarily want to do. And you also support me through the hard times. You know, this past year has been very difficult for me. And I'm sure it's been hard for you because you were close to Tamika too. I'm trying to think of what I want to say.
I was just thinking about like y'all's friendship and that timeline, like the timeline of realizing how long Tamika was just integrated and that timeline has Chantale in it too is crazy to me because you've been married and moved for a minute. And so, even not seeing you every day, or not every day, but seeing you as much as we saw you when you were here, it's just, it's all weird to know how long these things have happened, moments you've been around for, things you supported and done, or vice versa. And like, when you start to see all the different connections and, our family, your family, my crazy mama, and just how interconnected things have been. Like last year was so difficult for everybody because, everyone in terms of our friends, I know specifically the way me and Sarita have friends, we do not have friends. We just have other brothers and sisters. Right. And then you get integrated into the family. Like you come to a cookout, hey, we're cooking every other month. But after your first time coming and somebody be like, well, who is you? Or, hey, this is so-and-so. Then after that, oh, hey, Chantale. Hey, no, girl. And,
right.
It's been that. And I think that that's something that is so nurturing spiritually that I don't know if we think about that all that often. Because God, like you said earlier, did orchestrate stuff. I mean, I've told Kanae a million times, like, I don't get with you if God don't make me do some stuff that is clearly out of my character. Like, I'm not the confident, hey, how you doing? So hearing you be like, hey, would you like to come to this thing? It's just like, God was just like, you're going to need this here because otherwise you won't do it. So I'm going to control your mind. I'm not, because a lot of times, like I was like, I can't find no reason. Like I wasn't somebody who ever just was like, hey girl, how you doing today? Like unless I was tricked by somebody or whatever, it just didn't really happen. And especially when you think about you going up the mountain, like you knew, like we both know Sarita at that point, especially that year. It was like the year of we watching you. I almost said something that we normally don't say on this podcast. But girl, we watching you. Like I remember the feeling of being at the corral, whatever, singing after having found that out and just being like, oh my God, like what does that mean for my sister? Like this is really debilitating. And to think about that moment of how you're pulling up this mountain and like it's just you just know when you have to be like, Sarita, we're doing it. Like it don't really matter what you want to do because I know you're
bullying
going to
me up the mountain.
It's not bullying you because you bully people all the time. You just bully people with your words.
Thank you, Joe.
Like we bully with actions, you bully with words. It's just
so does
like,
my friend.
So
yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. But yeah, it is I think our friendship definitely is a treasure and it is a jewel and it's something I don't take for granted. And I definitely wanted you to know that in a public way. I really appreciate all you have done for me, not just this past year, but over the course of our friendship. And honestly, it was only a little while ago that I thought to myself, you know, my friend really took a bullet for me last year because I was texting her when we were in the waiting room trying to figure out what was going on with Tamika. And I, at that point in time, I really couldn't even think, you know, Tamika is her friend too. It's not just me, but I'm just like, girl, this is like, no bueno. Like, can you do this for me? And I didn't even think like, this girl is at work. You know, you probably don't need to be like, breaking news. This is what's going on. It was only recently that I'm like, well, how was she able to manage that and not like, this is not, because your job is not a sit in the office job. You want to talk about how you were able to manage that or no? You're going to punch me in the throat.
You want the truth? Transparency?
Yeah.
I ended a session early with the patient. Like, look, I have to go. This is it. I'm not trying to be in here crying on you, sir. I will see you when I see you. And we will figure this out. Right. I laugh now, but it was not obviously funny then, you know, but I also knew in spite of however I was feeling that it was important to me to be there for you and to support you during that time. You know, I didn't care, you know, what's a job? You know, we've both been there. What are bills? You know, This job can go.
Who needs a house?
Right.
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 Who needs a house? Not me.
Right.
Yeah, I do appreciate you. And I want you to know that because I was not in my right mind at the time, as I'm sure you know. But I didn't ever really think about that. I'm glad you were able to make it home safely, friend. Like, that was a lot. No. And I had stuff that I wanted you to do. I wasn't just like, and guess what? This is horrible. And da 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 da. But also I need for you to contact some people because I can't do it right now. Like, and you stepped in for that. And I really appreciate it. You also stepped in when it was time for us to put together the funeral program.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what I was getting mixed up is because how much everything it took to do what she did. And I just made that everything. I just gave you all the courage to, she did all this stuff. Cause that Sarita often will comment like, I did what I was told to do by God. And that's literally it. I think that's the funniest thing about.
No, you want to know what? I'm going to tell you what's funny. We were sitting at the table doing Tamika's funeral, trying to come up with the program and who is going to speak and what are we going to do. And I'm like, Chantale, I was like, well, I feel like Chantale should speak on behalf of the BSGs. Let me call her and see what she says. So we sitting at the table, I called Chantale and she was like, you want me to do what? Oh, nah, wait a minute. And I think I told her, I was like, yeah, we asked Joe. And he said, yeah. She said, he said, yeah. She was like, all right.
that point, I felt the pressure. I'm like, if Joe is gonna speak and say something, I gotta be able to pull it together to say something.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, so the funniest part about Sarita's phone and when people text her. So me and Tamika would often text when we were annoyed with certain situations. Me and Chantale seem to text at the same time when we are angry at you specifically or someone doing something to you. And it's always this protective all of a sudden because you'd be like, did you tell your brother yet? It was like, that's what she asked you. And it was like, well, what'd he say? And I was like, well, I know what she said because I'm saying the same thing. And so that's why that's funnier to me because it's like, normally like I'd just be like, nah, I'm here. I ain't got it. But I told her just like, after I accepted my call, just things appear differently. It's just like you cannot. It's like when I want to, I know I want to sit, but I also know that this person ain't gonna say nothing. This person ain't gonna say nothing. We lost a person that would have said something regardless of the situation, and we cannot be silent in this. So I'm glad that my partner in aggression came on and realized, well, if he do it, I guess I got to roll on.
I don't have no choice.
Very proud of you because I was like, I can't do it, but I know a lady
Girl.
has got a gift for words. Girl, say something on behalf of the people. And you did a beautiful job. You really did. You did a great tribute to Tamika. I was gonna say something else about our friendship. I can't remember. I meant to write it down, and I should have because of old age. What was I gonna say? Oh,
but can I say something while you're
sure?
Go ahead.
No, I got it.
No, I just want to take the time as well to say thank you as well. You make it easy to be a good friend to you because you have been a good friend to me, and you have been there for me as well, me and my family during hard times, to support and help along the way. And you've been a rock for me in a lot of ways. When I may have shut out everybody else, you were somebody that I always felt like, okay, I can let her in and I can talk to her. So I just want to tell you thank you as well. And also, if you ever question if God is using you, he definitely is. Because being on the show, girl, you couldn't have told me. You couldn't have gave me $1 million for me to say, yes, I would eventually be on here. But I will say this, the timing in which you asked me was right. So if you ever question that, if you're hearing God, whether it's in your personal life, dealing with your podcast, Bible study girl blog, anything like that, you are. Because if it wasn't for the ground being right at that time and things that I had just read and I felt like the God was saying to me, literally minutes before you sent me the text message about being on here, it would have been an immediate no. Because, that's me. I would have been like,
I know. And I started the text message off before you say no. I know you, friend.
Look, exactly. Right.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear that I am hearing the voice of God and it's not just me being like crazy. And I do
like the Bible study that we did. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I'm not being crazy. I am hearing his voice. And I think me and Joe talked about it in an earlier podcast. It hasn't aired yet. We talked about how we hear the voice of God and how we know it's him. But one thing I talked about was that confirmation piece, and you just spoke on it.
Yeah, that happens all the time. I think that also there was God. It's crazy when you kind of look back as we're having this conversation, because not only did he know you would need Chantale and Tamika when you needed them, because the culmination of all of those things were at the exact same time, connected to that incident or whatever. And then it was just like, no, you good. Because a lot of us, like you have your rocks or your people that are there. And sometimes when it's time to move on or when it's time to get that next level up or that spiritual place that God is trying to lead you to, that's a whole nother gambit, and like y'all coming into her life at that time was so special. Not, Tamika had already been there, but to be consistently there in terms of the changes that everybody was going through. If you think about when you went down to Houston, like all of these different connecting points and things of friendships and how we have this network. Like the network kept growing of witnesses, like, and it's just like it's amazing to see how he laid that path. Like he knew what he was setting up, years in advance, and that we would need people who got us without making us feel away and without that would truly speak to us, pull us in those uncomfortable spiritual places that leads to the spiritual growth that he wants for us to have, because otherwise all of us left to our own devices would not do much of nothing. Like I know for a full fact, like I don't accept my call without being in the car and again I told y'all this, but Sarita just being serious for once and not yanking my chain. Like Chantale, like the literal every fiber of everything that she would normally like joke with me about, she said, she looks over and she goes, "There's room in the pulpit for you too." And I was just like, wait, what? Like, were you trying to make me like cry or something? Like, what do you mean? And why are you saying it with a serious face? You're not joking. You ain't laughing. And because, like you said, because she's so church going sanctified, for her to say it, it was like, oh Lord, because you be listening to folks preach. You go to conventions. You done went to this conference and that, and
went to conventions with Chantale and her mom and my mommy. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a trip with another friend and their mom that wasn't like a Girl Scout trip, but we've been on a couple of excursions with our mothers. We went to Washington and we went to Woman Thou Art Loose. Joe, you touched on it earlier. We don't just have friends, we have family. Mm-hmm. And like if you're close to us, you have no choice but to know our entire family because we kicks it with them all the time.
And you just find out family knows family. Like, and then it just be like, wait, you're talking about cousin Jack? Oh, he be down at da-da-da-da-da. He go to church with such and such, and they've been friends for a long time. Like,
right.
And it's like, wait, what? How does that even, like, how do we not, it's a blessing to say
it is a blessing. It is a blessing.
I'm glad you went up that mountain.
I'm glad I went up that mountain too. And I feel like I've had so many different mountains that I've had to climb up in life. And my friend has been there to push me and support me. And I appreciate you for that. We don't just talk about Jesus. We real ignorant. We do sprinkle the Lord in. I do go to Chantale for spiritual advice. And sometimes she'll come to me and I'll be like, now this is not spiritual. This is just me in the flesh, what I think. But if you want some spiritual advice, the Bible over there, girl. This all I got for you. Sure. But she also is good for some great spiritual insight, some great spiritual advice. And like I said, we don't just talk about Jesus. We've lived life together. We've traveled around the world. When I look back at pictures of us young, 20s, traveling the world, I see why people were looking at us crazy.
Right.
Because we look like babies.
Yeah, very small
kids
people.
doing out here.
Yeah.
Did y'all cruise?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Many times.
We have cruised many times. We are cruise aficionados. We have seen many different parts of the world and met some really interesting people.
Right.
Yeah, I will say one thing. Anytime we travel together, if something crazy doesn't happen, it wouldn't be right. Like, we often say that, like, it wouldn't be a us trip if everything was just like regular and calm. No, something crazy has to happen.
So let me interview a little bit, both of you.
Okay.
So here's the question, like, because this is technically like to show y'all's friendship. Outside of last year, what is a moment or what is the moment that you are most thankful for having your friend? If either you need some time, I can filibust for a bit.
You don't have to filibust for me. You can filibust for my friend because she's going to have to think on that thing and decide what she wants to share from her heart. Let's see. The time I was most thankful for my friendship. I don't know that I can. I will say when I had my botched engagement, I feel like Tamika, I know that Tamika and Chantale were not in agreement with the choice I was making. And the
you
decision
can add me in that, please.
I knew you were not, but you asked her friendship. This ain't got nothing to do with
when you added Tamika, I said I knew, like you could have said I knew you guys, you know.
I knew they both were not in agreement with what I was doing. And Chantale can be very vocal about her opinion, but she also gave grace. Like, I don't think this is the best for you. I want the best for you, but I'm going to support you, you know, because I don't want you out here by yourself. So that probably was a time most recently, other than last year, because last year was a whole that was a whole different animal. But I was really grateful for her friendship. I think she also was kind of a buffer between me and Tamika because, you know, we had a big, epic disagreement that will stand throughout the ages. And a lot of people didn't want to touch it because it's like, I don't want to get between them two. Like, I don't know. But Chantale was very like, I know they was talking about me, but she was very like, you know, I love you and I just want what's best for you. But I also, like when Mom Patry died, I just moved to Houston.
Yo, it has been that long. Good
it has been a long time.
In our life way longer than I.
It's been a long time. I called Chantale. I might not have called her. I probably texted her because every time I talk to somebody, I got to holler and scream. Was like, she gone. And Chantale was like, I will fly to Houston right now and drive you back home. Like, that's the real friend. Like, she wasn't like, oh, wait. She was like, no, I'll come get you because you crazy. We must have been talking on the phone.
Because you crazy. And you drove your little crazy butt crying.
I drove my crazy stuff home. I really shouldn't have because she didn't want me to be driving. She was like, girl, I will fly to Houston and drive you home. Just like remain calm. And she drove down to the country to be with me for my Patry's funeral. And she said, these folks probably like, why she cried? This ain't her grandma. She cried like this, her grandma. So that's probably the first time that I was really like, this girl is my real friend. Like, she is gonna ride for me. So, yeah. You got one friend?
I would say the biggest thing for me, which, of course, like you said, we've been through a lot together. And you have been there for me as well. But I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is when I lost my nephew. You know, you were there. You know, like I said, when everybody else had went on, gotten over it, forgotten about it, Sarita remained consistent. And that's something that really stands out to me because a lot of times until you have experienced hurt like that, you don't know what people need. And, you know, myself, I realized that there was times when I went on assuming that the person was okay because I had not experienced that type of gut-wrenching hurt. By the loss of someone. And I know at that point, yes, Sarita had experienced death and loss herself. That was really hard. But I think nothing that really compares to like what you have this year. So to walk with me through that, be there with me through that, let me cry on you because, you know, I wasn't really a crier. I don't know, you know, all of those things. Let me express things to her that I felt like I couldn't say to my family because I wanted to shelter them or not hurt them. Sarita was there for it all. Even if she was sleep talking to me, if it was around 9 o'clock or later. She was there.
Okay. Baby, I will talk to you in my sleep.
Right.
But you also
I already know.
And I mean, talk like, bro, So weird. Like, who are you talking to? Full conversation. Like, full conversation. Answering. Like,
if it's 9 o'clock, I know to ask her, even though she's still talking to me, are you awake?
She might say yes.
But then she'd be like, girl, no, I was asleep. Let me get off this phone.
Oh my. Okay, so that leads perfect.
The whole conversation. Okay.
I have a whole conversation. I used to do that too when we were having study groups. Like I would literally be asleep, but I would be able to answer the question. Like you will see, I'm over here asleep, but I could talk to you in my sleep. It's a gift, man.
That was gonna be my next question. So we've gone. Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
I was just going to say this real quick, though. One thing that I do appreciate about Sarita and her friendship is that I can really be myself. You know, I can be complicated. I can be hard to get along with, hard to love. It doesn't matter, you know, that I can truly be myself. And that I appreciate. That's a true friend and that's true love, that you're not only here for me on my good days or, you know, when I'm easy to love. She's been there with me through it all, and she has stuck beside me, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. She may be cussing me out in the head, according to her blog post that I didn't realize, but she has always showed me kindness, grace, mercy, all of those things through all of that, and that I appreciate. Because a lot of people...
Go ahead, friend.
But I'm just saying, a lot of people, you can't take the mask off with them. You know, if you're your true self and say, hey, this is me, you know, as transparent as you can be, a lot of people will walk away from you.
That is true. And let me tell you something about my friend. She is very transparent. Early in our friendship, she would be like, we may not be friends after this. But I need to tell you about yourself. And I would be like,
you make it sound like I'm always correcting somebody.
No, not everybody. No. If you correct the people you love, it's not everybody, but and especially this one, because Sarita is so, it's not self-righteous. It's just, I'm saying something factual. And therefore, because I'm saying something factual, I don't understand why you're offended, or I don't understand why you're mad, or whatever it is. And so, like, the times where you have to be like, Sarita, that really was messed up. But how? Listen, girl, just shut up. It was messed up. Like, you might not like me because I'm telling you this, but no one else will.
But I will tell you, you need friends in your life that will tell you, this probably ain't your best move, bro. And I don't feel like you weren't ever abrasive with me. You would just... because you knew what you were saying had the potential to be like, because everybody can't handle truth. And so if you being honest with me about what's going on, I may not be able to handle it. And I may be like, I don't want to be friends with her because she told me about myself. But you wouldn't do it in a mean way. It would just be like, I need to tell you this. Now, I don't know how you're going to receive it, but this is you can make a better choice than what you're making right now. So I do appreciate that about you, but I'm also very critical of myself. And so to have a friend that can point out things that I'm not able to see or that I just choose to ignore, I think it's been very important for me to help me grow. So yeah.
Brighten the thing. So you've done the most trying time that you were like, I'm glad this person is here. What is the funniest time that either of you have with one another? The one that like Tamika's was probably Stone Mountain or like some other one, because y'all have so many.
We have so many stories.
But so if you can think of one, Sarita, if you can think of one, Chantale, just like
I can think of one. I'm probably gonna steal hers, but y'all, I told you me and Chantale were world travelers. Well, we like to take adventures when we went on our world traveling trips. And we had decided we were going to go snorkel. Typically, when we went snorkeling, we would have life vests on, but we felt grown this time. And so...
yeah, not you felt grown, child.
We Yeah, we felt grown this time. So we got out. The time before that we had went snorkeling, we had on life vests and we was like holding hands while we was in the middle of the ocean so we wouldn't lose nobody. Anyway, but this time we was like, we grown now. We don't need no life vests. We just grown. Honey, we jumped it. I don't know why we felt grown. All I know is at one point, I was like, girl, do you feel like you finna drown and die? She was like, yes, I do. So she takes off. She swims. She left me in the middle of the ocean and swam on back to the boat. I was trying to get back as quick as I can. And I have a picture because I had an underwater camera. And it is a picture of Chantale's legs kicking away from me. I guess I clicked the button in my fight for my life. But it's an underwater picture of her legs. And her flippers kicking away from me towards the boat as I'm like about to perish in the middle of the ocean. But I made it back to the boat because I can swim and stuff. But like, I don't know why it was so hard that time. Like,
and let it be said, Sarita is a much better swimmer than I am. So every man for themselves. I needed to get back. Let me get back to safety.
And she did. She saved her life. Baby, she was going to live to tell the story. Well, what happened was,
right,
this time we didn't have no life. See, you be feeling grown sometimes, but you're not. What's your story for it?
I was going to say, I'm agree. That's probably one of the funniest ones that I could think of in this moment.
Right.
Give us some time. I'm sure we could probably come up
that you can share on air, because I have another one, but I'm not gonna share it. But it also,
I was fixing to ask.
You like,
I was going to tell you, I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because don't do it.
No, don't.
Yeah, don't.
I don't know what it is. It's not safe.
I do have another one. I'll tell you afterwards, but it's pretty funny. Like, it shows how old and like we be trying to be hip, but sometimes we just don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Chantale is much more hip than I am in real life, but like back in the day, we both was trying to be super hip, and it just was not. It was not the look. Let me ask you this question: if Tamika hadn't died, do you think you would have done the podcast today?
Yes, because like I said, that's you asking me that now.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me that a while back, I would say no. But like I said, I had started reading a book, and it's Woman Evolved with T.D. Jake's daughter. What was the name?
Sarah. Mm-hmm.
And there was things that she was speaking in there about evolving as a woman, and also planting a seed and how that seed turns into fruit and the environment in which you keep and things like that. So there was things that you I had read previously to you asking me, and then reading the review of the blog that we were going to be reviewing today, and you talking about keeping, friends around you that pray and stuff. They kind of, to me, synced up with what the book was saying, which is the environment. When you plant a seed, you have a plant, the environment can either cause that plant to grow or die. So there was a lot of things that just kind of came together for me that I felt like God was tugging at my heart. Like I said, if you ever doubt and question that God was using you or is using you, that's confirmation, because had it not been for that, and the crazy thing is I've had this book for a while and I've put off reading it, but like Joe was talking about earlier, things lining up and syncing, for things to be, for those reasons, yes.
Okay.
I would have, if that makes sense. But you could have never told me that I would have.
You couldn't have told me either, friend.
We all shocked.
We are.
No,
miracles.
We are all, and miracles do happen in the earthly realm.
Yeah, bro, that is true though.
As above, so below.
That is true.
I was whenever I think about the experiences that me and Mama got because y'all had experiences. So I think about y'all talking about y'all Duns River Falls experience, or Sarita telling me about it, and then us experiencing it and being like, okay. But okay, so I think I don't know if the funniest part was when you get done and you got to walk through the seller's intense market, or if your actual trip up the falls was as funny as ours was. But I was always like, I'd be like, well, how did Chantale handle this? Okay, so she just walked. Okay, just kept walking.
Chantale is very athletic, and Mama, unfortunately, on that trip up the falls was not.
Lord have mercy.
It was 2 different trips, my friend. Different trips. Trip with your friends and a trip with your family. It's 2 different trips. I will say, I feel like we've shared so many amazing moments together. Like, if I sit down and really think about all that we've been through, like, it's a lot. It's intense.
It is.
But I'm grateful. I am grateful for our friendship, friend. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything you feel burning in your heart like you have to say? I know you're going to say no.
Yeah.
No.
See, you should have proved it wrong and been like,
right.
Yeah, you dramatic.
I have the whole letter here. Paragraph 1.
You read it.
No, but
I'm grateful that I have a friend that I can laugh with and pray with and party with and be silly with and grow with, because that's important. I think you need friends that can do all of those things. And you've definitely been all of that to me. I love you. Everybody in my family loves you. Even in a time of bereavement, my cousin was trying to spruce it up like, you didn't tell me Chantale was going to be here. She's dropping off chicken, bro. Like, I would have put on a different shirt.
But then, but in that same turn, she then switches because you are family. Be like, you just got to see me like this. I mean, we family anyway, so it don't matter. And
right.
Those moments, I think, are when you know that God is good. Just because in your lowest moments, God is good. In your highest moments, God is good. In your middle moments, God is good. Because he's orchestrated a life that's going to show you how much he cares for each and every one of us. And I think that's what that was, in the moment of having a friend to pull you up that mountain and to pull you up through all mountains and trials in life, that comes back to get you so you're not defeated. Because the weapons form, they cut, they bite, but a friend helps you heal. A friend gets you a Band-Aid. A friend tells you, you cut yourself, like it ain't that deep, like, well, this is what happens when you grab knives or whatever. But it's about getting over that mountain and, walking up to the next one. Like, you're not going to take me down either. So.
Right.
You saved that one in your soul, didn't you?
I mean,
it's because you ain't. It's because you ain't been able to preach in a while.
I was thinking about that the other day. I thought, bro, I promise you, I was like, and the other, like, the biggest issue, I think, and I'll end on this and do my thing after this, just so y'all know. Like, the hardest part I think about thinking about preaching up here is, like, it's so open, so to speak. Like, everybody is very open arms to all things and everything. And so with that, the way that they speak can sometimes just seem like it ain't holding on to nothing, like it's pandering.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not that. I don't pander. Like, the thing that I think that I know intrinsically about me and Chantale, because this is always a funny thing to me, is I'm going to tell you the truth. I can tell you in a nice way that, like, is the truth, but once you react in a certain way, I'm just going to double down on the fact that this is the truth. And like, you can be as mad at me as you want to be, but the truth will not change. Now, I'm sure she does it better than I do, because I know I can get real, I mean, like, delivery not caring about it, but that's because I was raised by somebody on this call. But anyway,
it depends on what kind of mood she's in, my friend. I'm just talking. I wish y'all could see her face.
Yeah, but
no, she for real.
It depends on the seriousness of the situation. Like, if this is life changing stuff, yeah, I'm probably coming a little strong and firm. Like, no, we're not gonna lose one today. We're gonna get it together.
You trying to die?
Right? Not today. Not on my watch.
Let me tell you something else. She will ask me. She'll be like, "Does your mama know where you are?" Does your mama know where you are? Let me tell y'all, Chantale, I'm gonna tell this one last Chantale story. But I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, that's crazy. Chantale was really there for the birth of Straight from the Soul. The first wedding Tamika and I ever did. Chantale was there to help us get it together. That's true friendship. This was early in our friendship. Chantale sat in the passenger seat of the car, balled up.
Ooh, you was big mad.
Because we were bringing columns. And here's one thing about me that we learned early on in Straight from the Soul. I'm not good with the measurements and the numbers. So in my mind, all of this stuff was going to fit. And then
in the car.
In the car. But in the end, it was like she had her little bag, like everything. She just stayed scrunched for 2 hours. Oh, more than 2 hours, because we left from Conway, like a 2.5 hour ride and all that stuff. That's a real friend. That is a real true
I forgot about that. Like, you, like
I drove Tamika's. I feel like I was in Tamika's car because I ended up cracking her windshield because it wasn't big enough to carry all the stuff. And she was scrunched over there in the passenger seat. Get you a friend that'll scrunch in your passenger seat in the beginning of your dream.
That's crazy. Like, I guess I hadn't even realized until you said it. I'm like, bro, I hadn't even, like, when Chantale got around, I hadn't even gone to college.
Oh, yeah.
I had not gone anywhere. Like, I was really a small child, which is why I think I laugh at how, and I guess, you know, I'll never know in certain ways, like, how people are impacted by, well, that's the little brother or that's Lil Joe. As most people will say, because I just don't know, like, because they just be there, like, folks just be here. You kind of end up, and last year let me know, you know, not to take folks for granted, which is why we doing this, and I'm glad that you did this, because that's something that helped through grief in those moments, is having things that you can go back and listen to. That episode that we have with Tamika is, you know, prophetic to everything.
Have you listened to it, Joe, since she passed?
No, I did that first time you mentioned to, yes, but I did not do it this at the 1 year. I did not. I said no. I drew a line in the sand, even though I told you I was going to. I ignored all instruction. Just because I'm not, you know, I'm going to do it. I just wasn't finna do it then.
Gotcha.
But it's crazy to kind of see that and see the impact you had on people. You know, everybody has their own. Oh, do you? Well, never mind. You already told your story. Never mind. I was going to ask a question that I know the answer to, which was your funny story regarding me, but I know what it is. We ain't got to go back through that.
You don't want me to tell about how you acted like you didn't know Chantale when your wife came around? She wasn't your wife at the time. Kanae was his girlfriend. You were still in high school.
I was still in high school. I was a senior.
We were going. Chantale, do you remember where we were going? We were going to a play or
comedy. I think a play or something. I think it was a play
special.
Okay.
We were going somewhere.
Wasn't it Ricky Smiley?
I don't remember who it was. I just remember being in the parking lot and you was trying to act like you did not know who Chantale was. I'm like, Joe, you know who she. because you know she's fine. He trying to act like, no, I've never met this attractive woman before in my life. Hello, my name is Joseph. Like,
didn't I go?
That's right. Nice to meet you.
No, did Mama? Like, I'm trying to remember whether or not I was actually there with y'all or we were just picking y'all up.
You drove. Y'all were in a separate car.
Yeah.
I think we met up at wherever it was, the comedy show or whatever. So I think we saw you in the parking lot or something going in.
No, I remember that part because
I know
I'm never gonna forget. Joe.
Right.
I was like,
and I was like, why are you acting like you clearly know who she is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I brought that back at that wedding we went to a couple years ago at this point.
Did you?
You don't remember that? Because you was like, oh, you gonna act like you don't know who she is? You know Michelle. You know who she is.
Oh, yes, I did bring it back.
Yeah,
you do have
did.
that history around your wife. When if he gets around an attractive woman, he be like, I don't know who she is.
I don't know. I plead the whole other fifth.
He get amnesia all of a sudden.
No, but
I'm gonna say this too, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. But Chantale's beauty has been a long-standing
girl
quality in our friendship that has benefited us greatly. Anytime we go somewhere, we get nice things. People treat us nicely because she's so beautiful. And also, when we did the wedding, my cousin walked in, saw her. He never shuts up. He walked in. He was talking as he was walking. As soon as he saw her, yep. He literally.
I was just about to say that. Like all of the cousins, as far as I know, like, yo, Chantale coming? Like everybody goes, Chantel's. Okay.
Yeah, Chantale gonna be here. She's still married? Is that they still together? Yeah, they are.
Listen.
Yeah.
But man,
but that's it. That's all. I'm so thankful for my friend that she came on today. I'm gonna ask you like I asked Tamika. Was it as bad as you thought it was gonna be?
Not at all.
Okay.
Anybody that is trying to decide whether or not to come on here, if I can do it, you can do it.
We had already before the off air, we had a conversation. I was like, it's literally just like that. I said I explain it to most people.
Trying to give me the elbow.
I was just like, look, it's us talking. I said whatever the 60 minutes, the interview. I said we old, so we got to use people that interview, but that's not what this is. Like a lot of times people make themselves like they can't be interesting or important or whatever. And it's like, no, your story needs to be told. Like there are people who are interested. There are people who want to hear it and you'd like to hear it. You know, this is something that no matter what happens that you get to keep with you, whether you download it, you can put it on a CD, you can put it on a, wherever and keep it with you. And it's like a voicemail, but not. And it's just really, really good to kind of have that.
It's good. I'm glad we have this little time capsule, just a moment of our friendship. You know, we can't really go. I can't tell all the ways that I'm thankful for you or all the exciting things we've done, but you've been a very important part of my life. And I want you to know that I'm thankful for your friendship, friend.
Well, thank you. I'm thankful for yours as well. And I love you. Talking today makes me think that God didn't just give me a friend. He gave me family with you and your family, an extended family. And that I am truly grateful for.
Oh, you trying to
I
make
love all of y'all.
Friend. I love
you too. Listen, we really do.
You know, I'm not really a crier, but I have been a crier a lot more lately. And I said to her, listen, I said to her one day this week when I was talking to her, I was like, I hope I don't get to crying on you. And she was like, I hadn't even thought of it.
I know. I was like, watch me be the one crying. I'll be the one crying.
And she always try to make me out to be more of a crier than what she is. And I'm like, nah, fam, you cry. You just...
She got that.
You just...
I do cry, but I've definitely cried a lot this past year more than I ever have. And I do cry, but I'm not like I do have a friend. She be watching commercials and crying and stuff. That ain't me.
Oh, Lord, no. I am not that person. Now, recently, I've been infected by...
Listen to this, she know who she is. Yeah, girl, I'm talking about you.
I've been infected by my living situation, and now watching certain TV shows, I just be like, And Canto almost took me out there, but it didn't.
That's a great movie. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
You should watch it.
I haven't.
You should definitely watch it, and but we don't on this podcast. It's not they preach, and we don't talk about Bruno over here. It's not us preach. It's we preach.
And he didn't tell you where you.
Oh wait, hold on. I'll go back. Sorry.
Okay.
Listen, this is what happens when you get when God is moving and bring Chantale on the podcast. You forget some things.
You sure
if
do.
you want,
you know how in church when they be like, "Ooh, the spirit is moving."
It's moving. The doors of the church was open. Listen, I'm gonna keep saying this every podcast. There are blog posts every day at BibleStudyGirl.com. You can also listen to the podcast there.
Oh, wait. I've got one more Chantale story, and then I'm gonna let it go.
Go ahead.
This story just happened Saturday night. I was on the phone with her Saturday night, late in the midnight hour. She was like, "You still up, girl?" "Yeah, I'm up. I just got home, really." I was gossiping. And then she said something to me. She was like, "Let me get on off the phone so you can get to church in the morning." Or something she said. And she was like, "You been going to church?" I was like, "No." She was like, "Now what would Tamika say to you?" I'm finna be Tamika. I can't believe this. Now I done tried to give you space, but you tried. I was like, because you said something, friend, I'm gonna respect that. I'm gonna go to church, virtually. Like, I'm gonna click on the button and go to church. And I went to church because my friend pushed me, because I've been struggling in my faith journey. So y'all need friends like that. Go on with your stuff, boy.
The blog posts come every day at BibleStudyGirl.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, we have emails and Twitters. The email is BibleStudyGirl2019@gmail.com. And the Twitter is BibleStudyGirl2, because there's a 1 and a without a number, because why? Anyway, the last thing that you need to do is on Facebook, like us. The group Bible Study Girl will also post the podcast. If you do not want to leave Facebook, you can listen to the podcast there as well. And like I said, we don't talk about Bruno, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.